Today, I want to talk to you about my preconception journey. Colin and I were able to conceive naturally and are expecting our first baby in February. Hello, how is everybody out there doing today? Thanks for joining me again. I've got some big news. I am pregnant. Colin and I are expecting our first baby in February. Yay! It's been an incredible journey just the last few months, just daydreaming and imagining who this little person is going to be, what they're going to be like. I just spent a lot of time napping and feeling nauseous too, if I'm being honest. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about our preconception journey. And I'm hoping that it might be helpful for some of you out there that are thinking of doing the same thing yourselves, or maybe you're going through that right now. And not every case of PCOS expresses itself the same way. So these are purely anecdotal, but I think that I might have some good ideas for you. And my first big number one idea for getting ready to try to conceive is to start early. And what I mean by that is if your partner and you are kind of circling around this idea of maybe trying to have a baby soon, you should go ahead and start preparing your life for such a commitment. With Colin and I, we knew that we were moving back closer to family in this summer, and we felt that was the best time for us to start a family. So when we figured out we had made that decision, it was fall, it was September. So we had about 6 months to really get ready for this part of our family planning. And this is an awesome opportunity for you, if you haven't already, to maybe check out exercise and get familiar with the gym, and to kind of brush up on maybe your sleep habits and your nutrition habits. And here's why. As soon as you find out you have a baby growing inside you, you're going to want to do everything you can to make sure it's as healthy as possible. And working out is obviously one great way to have a very healthy pregnancy. And ladies, it's also been shown that women who give birth who are physically stronger have shorter labor. So hello. You definitely want to get as strong as you can as well. So if you have a few months before you're even going to try to conceive, that's a great opportunity for you to maybe get a personal trainer or a nutrition coach or just a few books or resources so that you feel prepared in the fitness and nutrition areas of your life. Okay, so if you've already kind of looked into that and you're working on that, I want to talk about some steps that I would recommend taking right out of the gate, so to speak, as soon as you think that you might want to conceive soon. The first thing is to start tracking your cycles. You could use a calendar, but I think apps are a whole lot easier. I used the app called Glow, and that was really helpful, and particularly because step 2, I think the next important step is to both you and your partner schedule preconception health checkups. And so if you can go into your gynecologist with your cycles already charted out, that gives them a lot of information to work with. And visiting your OBGYN before you try to go on your trying to conceive journey is a really great idea, because your gynecologist may take a look at your lab results, and they may take a look at your cycles and say, hey, I think we just already need to get you in to see a fertility specialist. Something isn't syncing up right. And while that might be disappointing information, that's also very useful information, because it's much better to go in for your fertility appointment before you've spent 3, 6 months, a year trying to conceive naturally. So it's better to just kind of confront that information head on. And of course, when you go in for this checkup, make sure you remind your physician that you have PCOS. So you're going to want to get things like your diabetes risk and your risk for thyroid disease assessed as well. And of course, I said my partner too. I want to call in to go get a physical, because babies need healthy dads and healthy moms, or healthy parents in general. So it's always a good thing to make sure that you're both squared away in the health department. And actually, in my blog, if you're not already over at my site, I'm going to set up a list of some of the blood tests that my friend and fertility specialist, Dr. Perlow, recommended I get as a woman living with PCOS who was interested in conceiving. And so hopefully that will be helpful for some of you as well. Okay. The next step, so step 3, is I went ahead and I audited my nutrition supplements. Obviously, I switched from a regular multivitamin to a prenatal vitamin. And I also wanted to make sure that I was taking enough fish oil. Now, I think fish oil is a good idea for most women living with PCOS to begin with, because it is good for preventing heart disease, which is something we're at risk for. And there have been some studies indicating that taking fish oil will lower our free testosterone. So that's a double win. But when you're trying to conceive, it is especially important because of DHA, which is an acid contained in omega-3 fish oil supplements, and of course fish, that is really important for the development of a healthy baby. And in fact, March of Dimes wants you to get about 200 milligrams a day of that DHA. So I would go ahead and look for a supplement that will make sure that you get that, so that you're all squared away as well for that. And then I think the last thing to do is look over and make sure that all of your supplements have been independently tested and that they're safe for pregnancy. So what I found is if there was an herbal I was taking that wasn't ever tested or approved for pregnant women, and I just decided to leave it out of my daily supplement intake while I was trying to conceive, just to be on the safe side. And then you always want to make sure that you're purchasing supplements that have been independently tested for purity. Now, there are usually 2 stamps of approval you can look for on the bottle. They both have 3 letters, NSF or GMP. Those are the 2 of the most common stamps of approval you're going to see that indicate that something has been independently tested for quality. You can also look up your brand and your supplement at consumerlabs.com. That is another great resource. But remember, without that voluntary independent testing, the government, at least in the United States, isn't holding supplement companies accountable for purity. So, I mean, I would, regardless of whether or not I was getting pregnant, I would recommend auditing your supplements and making sure that they're all independently tested. Okay. So I think that is the basic rundown of what we did over the first few months while we were getting ready for this big event in our lives of trying to conceive. But I want to talk to you a little bit about, I guess, my personal, more emotional experience with this journey. And the first thing, once we decided that, okay, this summer we're going to try to have a baby, I was really excited. And then I kind of got scared and anxious because as women with PCOS, we're no strangers to the risks and the issues that come with our fertility. And sometimes it's just hard and heavy to face. And actually, Colin did a great job of helping me get over that anxiety by telling me something that I tell my clients all the time, which is you need to focus on the actions that you can take, the things that you can control. Wondering and worrying about the what-ifs in the future that you can't control isn't going to make you any healthier, and it's not going to make conceiving any easier. So doing things like the checklist I mentioned and taking control of your health as best that you can right now is probably the best medicine for moving away from that anxiety and towards a feeling of empowerment. So I would encourage you to try to reframe that anxiety. It's not always easy, and sometimes it's a daily practice, but reframe it as, okay, well, this is what I'm doing. This is what's in my control. I'm doing the best that I can. And then I would also encourage you to get support. I reached out to a great friend of mine who had a PCOS conception journey of her own, hi Lala, and just said, hey, I'm not sharing this with everybody, but I want you to be my person that knows that this is what I'm thinking and feeling right now as we approach this time in our family planning. And it was just great to get it off my chest and out into the world and hear back, hey, I know that feeling, and it's okay and it's normal and everything will be okay one way or another. So I would encourage you, whether it's a support group online, whether it's a friend, just look for someone that maybe can understand and really relate to what you're going through. They don't have to have answers. It's just good to have someone hear you sometimes. So for all of you out there that are waiting for their baby to arrive or are waiting to conceive, I'm with you and I hear you and I know how you're feeling. And if you have any tips that you would like to share with other women in our position, please leave them in the comment section. And if you have any questions, of course, you're welcome to reach out to me and I'll see if there's a way that I can answer them for you. I hope that this little chat has been helpful for you and maybe gave you some ideas how to get started or how to kind of tweak the conception journey you're already on.